morning, everyone. What the world gains from optimism. Helen Keller once said, "No pessimist ever discovered the secret of the stars, or sailed to an uncharted land, or opened a new doorway for the human spirit." Instead, she believes that optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. And I agree with her wholeheartedly. Optimism's infectious nature makes the world a happier and ultimately better place. It is what makes us fight the injustices of the world, and it gives the world the strength to go on. Let's start on a positive note. Optimism is infectious. It's like an equation. When one optimistic person is around another person, his or her optimism is likely to spread to that other individual. In other words, one optimistic person added to another person will make two optimistic people. And the more optimistic people who are added to this equation, the more optimistic people there will be in the world. The world gains happier and more hopeful individuals, which only reaps benefits for the world, as happier people means a happier and better world. For example, a study carried out by the University of Warwick showed that productivity levels increased by 20% when people were placed in a happier environment, while research carried out by Harvard Medical School showed that optimism can cut the risk of coronary heart disease by 50%. If people are healthier and happier due to the power of optimism, this gives them the strength to fight for a better future. The world that we live in today is riddled with injustices and inequality and oppression, and to deny that all of those things exist is to deny a better future for the world. Prejudice is alive and well in many places. In America, where white police officers can murder innocent black civilians and get away with it, or where a woman can make 77 cents to a man's dollar. In 77 countries, it is illegal to love another human being because they happen to be the same sex as you. Where Jewish and Islamic places of worship have been targeted simply because people disagree with their religion. With all this injustice in the world, we have to come together and fight for a future where we can all be equal. This is where optimism comes into play. Optimism is what makes us stand up and fight for a better future. Because if we didn't believe and hope that one day things would get better, then we wouldn't fight for that future. We would just give up. Optimism can be seen in all the Black Lives Matter protests and in the Women's March. All of those people got together to fight for justice, to fight against inequality and oppression. That's optimism. This fight, however, is not just for the strong, but also for those who endure. As much as we may like to pretend that optimism is some great, happy all the time state of mind, it is not. There is a dark and gritty side of optimism. Personally, I have struggled with anxiety and mild depression, all of which can make it very difficult to pull myself out of bed on some mornings. Optimism is what gets me going every day, because I believe that despite everything, things will get better. And this can translate to the world. How many despicable and horrendous events have taken place in the world over the past several years? 9/11, Paris, Brussels, Orlando, and Sandy Hook are just some of the many examples. Now, after each of these events, the world had a choice. To let these events defeat us, or to be optimistic and know that no matter whatever we are suffering through right now, things will get better. Because we would have hope. And we've all heard that saying from Suzanne Collins, that hope is the only thing stronger than fear. Optimism is what gets the world through all of the atrocities that it has to face. Therefore, it can be said that the world gains a lot from optimism. Its highly infectious nature means that it spreads from